Hey everyone, my name is Bobby Ridge, and I'm a lifespan extensionist. I discuss research that's going to help us live to like 150 years old, and hopefully, I'll figure out research that's going to help us live a lot longer. That's the plan, right? First, figure out how to live a little bit longer, like to 130, 140, 150, right? And then with that extra time, then we can live to like 200 and 300, which it actually will happen a little different than that, I think. But and then I also discuss like the societal impact, right, of this research, because clearly the research is awesome, right? If you haven't heard about this research yet, you got to start looking into it, right? It's just there you go. It's just the most incredible thing, right? As you can imagine, the research is very elegant and just so important, right? Well, today I was going to talk about blue zones. I'm sure you've heard of blue zones, right? It's been pretty popular for quite a long time now, and I I was actually just recently attracted to it, particularly because I've been looking for a measurement of maximum human lifespan, right? When you measure lifespan in model organisms, there's a few different ways of doing it, and you can measure average lifespan and their increases. You can measure median lifespan, and then you can also measure maximum, which maximum is you can either look at the longest lived organisms in any sort of group, right? The test group or the control group. You can look at the very longest lived, or maximum lifespan is usually considered the average of the last 10%, right? And and so I've always been looking for if anyone's done this calculation, and it looks like blue zones is the closest thing I've discovered so far for human maximum lifespan. And it's important to find this measurement, right? Because we want to extend it, right? And having the measurement would be important for doing that. And so, let me write this down real quick. Sorry. This thing fell off. Okay, so where are we at? And so, by the way, if anybody has that measurement or like has something close to that, the human maximum lifespan, can you please send that to me? To be honest, I haven't really looked that thoroughly for one, but yeah, if you can send that to me, that'd be really great if you have it. I'll have my email in the description. I'll probably put my email on the screen too. Okay, so I'm in this lifespan extension vlog. I'll probably have like maybe 3 parts to this, and I'll be discussing things like I'll just be defining the blue zones. I think I'll give a quick definition, and then I'll go into more of a thorough definition by actually looking at Dr. Dan Buettner's actual paper, right? That he's published. I think we're gonna look at his 2016 paper, and then I'll talk about. I wish I had this a little bit larger. We'll go through his paper, and then we'll review his website, right? He's the CEO of Blue Zones LLC, and he has a website for Blue Zones, and the website's really impressive. And so we'll go through that, and then the last thing we'll discuss is a TEDx that Dan Buettner did in I think 2013, and he talked about blue zones. I'm pretty sure there's only 3 at that time that they've discovered, and they've discovered around 5 now. But in the 2013 talk that Dan gave at TEDx, there are some things that he did wrong that I think are really important to discuss. So yeah, so let's get right into this. Actually, so I gotta change this up a little bit and then reorganize myself. I'll put my video right there. And okay, let's do this. Yeah, it's really nice mixing together research I do with these vlogs. Like it's actually intermingling really well, making things really efficient. I can't wait until I'm like really good at it. It would just it would, I don't know. Okay, so a quick sort of definition of blue zones, in case you haven't really learned about it yet, is there are areas in the world in which people tend to live to 100 years old, right? A lot more than other areas of the world. You know, certain demographics in specific geographical areas. And another important point is that these 100-year-olds that are in these places, these blue zones, they have great vigor, right? Their health span has kind of kept up with their life increase or their long lifespan, which is really great, right? That's what we want. We want to be preventing aging, right? Increasing health span while increasing lifespan. That's very important, and it's very obvious also. That's what we want to do. But you know, it's important to say that out loud, I guess. And so far, they discovered 5 blue zones. And in fact, there's a blue zone really close to me. I live in California, and there's a blue zone like 5 hours away from where I'm at. And so I was gonna go down there, I'm sure, like sometime this year or something, and interview some people over there. It's a group of, or I'll discuss that later. And so that'll be really fun to go down there and talk to some people. And so the CEO believes that there's evidence or shares evidence that this increase in lifespan is predominantly environmentally based and not necessarily genetically based. And so that's an important point, right? Because now he thinks that we can look for these environmental sort of life extension things, right? These lifespan increasing environmental pressures, and we could start replicating them in all around the world, right? And he's actually been very active with that with his company. You know, that they're actively going out trying to change policies and just trying to change the environment, right, in various different ways, so that people can be living to 100 years old, 105, 110 years old with great health. Okay, so that's just a quick description of blue zones, but let's go a little bit deeper now. Let's look at one of his papers. Blue zones. I want to look at this one. So hold on. Okay, you can see the screen, right? Yeah, you can. Okay, I'm gonna minimize this. Really? Sweet. But I want to show this the whole screen. Okay, whatever. So let's check this paper out. So written by Dan Buettner and Sam Skemp. That's a cool last name. And published in 2016, titled Blue Zones: Lessons from the World's Longest Lived People. I just went on PubMed to find it. This is where it was published, American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. And probably should have organized this a little bit better before I started looking at it, but it should be fine. Okay. So let's just kind of take our time, go through this. So here's the abstract. Right? Everybody knows how a paper is kind of structured, right? You got the abstract in the beginning, kind of gives like a brief summary of the paper, and They might discuss the findings and stuff. And then they have sort of an intro right here. And then they start kind of going to the body of the paper. This is more of like they do discuss an experiment they did, but this is kind of just an overview paper. It's not like a detailed experimental paper. And another important note before I start reading this is I have a bachelor's degree only, and so I know how to read literature relatively well, but obviously I don't have a master's or a PhD, so I don't know how to read literature super well. But it definitely helps having a bachelor's reading this, because I can at least extract the information I need for my company, and like there is information I know I'm not getting, and so I really wish I had my master's, which I'll be getting in about like a year from now. I decided to just like focus my company for the next year and then get a master's, but whatever. So let's read the abstract real quick. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I highly recommend that you go and read the entire paper for yourself, because there's just such great stuff in here. And so, but let's read this abstract. Okay, so what began as a National Geographic expedition led by Dan Buettner to uncover the secrets of longevity evolved into the discovery of the 5 places around the world where people consistently live over 100 years old, dubbed the Blue Zones. Dan and his team of demographers, scientists, and anthropologists were able to distill the evidence-based common denominators of these blue zones into 9 commonalities that they call the Power 9. They have since taken these principles into communities across the United States, working with policymakers, local businesses, schools, and individuals to shape the environments of the Blue Zone Project communities. What has been found is that putting the responsibility of curating a healthy environment on an individual does not work. But through policy and environmental changes, the Blue Zones Project communities have been able to increase life expectancy, reduce obesity, and make healthy choice the easy choice for millions of Americans. What has been found is that putting the responsibility of curating a healthy environment on the individual does not work, but through policy. Okay. That sounds like an important point. So yeah, something I forgot to tell you earlier is that they found commonalities between these 5 different groups of people in these 5 different locations. And so far they've found 9 commonalities that they are all, different like lifestyles and like diets and stuff. And so I guess Dan Buettner and others are calling it the Power 9. Okay, so now for the introduction. Oh yeah, I gotta have my notes pulled up, because I actually take notes like while I do this. I'm like learning like while I'm doing this at the same time. So, and I think that's important to say out loud. So for the introduction, I want to read this. I didn't read this before. I've read like half of this so far. So, however many individuals have the capacity to make it well into the early 90s and larger without chronic disease. Okay. So for the introduction, the Danish twin study established that only about 20% of how long the average person lives is dictated by our genes, whereas the other 80% is dictated by our lifestyle. And so you remember I brought that up earlier, and this is the evidence that he uses to indicate to that it's more environmentally based, right? And I actually kind of want to look into this a little bit more. This looks really important. Okay, so let's keep reading on though. I don't want. Yeah, I'll look into it later. Okay, and let me write that down. I'll look into that later. Okay, so let's keep going. In 2004, Dan Buettner, CEO of Blue Zones LLC, was determined to uncover the specific aspects of lifestyle and environment that led to longevity. By teaming up with National Geographic and the National Institute of Aging, Dan and his team found that 5 demographically confirmed, geographically defined areas with the highest percentage of centenarians, which are Loma Linda, California, the United States, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece. Hopefully I said that correctly. And Okinawa, Japan. Right? And they actually provide a figure. I'll zoom into that in a second. So these 5 areas were located using epidemiological data, statistics, birth certificates, and other research. These areas were dubbed blue zones, where people reach age 100 at 10 times greater rates than in the United States. Okay, so that's what the measurement is that they used, the calculation, to determine this sort of maximum lifespan. So it's different than what is used to test maximum lifespan in modeled organisms. And okay, let's keep moving on. By the way, I'll be thinking like out loud, like talking out loud. Okay, whatever. I don't need to say that. Sorry. Sorry, I have so many things on my mind right now. Okay, so once these areas were established, they sent in a team of anthropologists, demographers, epidemiologists, and researchers to identify the lifestyle characteristics that might explain longevity. They found that the lifestyles of all blue zones residents shared 9 specific characteristics that these are called the Power 9. Cue the music. Okay, so here's a quick map of all the 5 different blue zones. You got one in California in Loma Linda. It's the Seventh-day Adventist specifically. It's not necessarily Loma Linda. I'm pretty sure. I think it's just specifically the Seventh-day Adventist in Loma Linda. Which I wonder if they've tested lifespan in other areas, right? Because if the Seventh-day Adventist religious people here were living longer than Seventh-day Adventists in other areas, that means that there's something geographically going on here. And by the way, I'll actually be interviewing Dan Buettner. I'll be contacting him pretty soon. I'm posting the podcast videos. I have like a bunch of them. I'll be posting them. Finish editing like I think like 7 or 8 of them in like a month from now, and we'll start posting them. And then a month later, I'll start contacting people. Or maybe I'll start contacting him sooner. I don't know. We'll see. So it'd be really great to talk to him because I definitely have some questions for Dan that would really help with my research, help with my company, help with the overall movement. Okay, so and then you see Costa Rica, Italy, Greece, Japan. So it's really great. And the details are even greater. So let's look at the Power 9 now. So to make it to age 100, it seems that a person must have to win the genetic lottery. However, many individuals have the capacity to make it well into the early 90s and largely without chronic disease. Blue Zones uncovered 9 evidence-based common denominators among the world's centenarians that are believed to slow this aging process. So here's the 9. You got move naturally, have purpose, downshift, 80% rule, the hara hachibu. I'm sure I did not pronounce that correctly. You got the plant slant, wine at 5, belong, loved ones first, and right tribe. Okay, so I'll read these. Try to be quick about reading these. So move naturally, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. The world's longest lived people do not pump iron, run marathons, or join gyms. Instead, they live in environments that constantly nudge them into moving without thinking about it. They grow gardens and do not have mechanical conveniences for house and yard work. So that's really great, right? Especially in America, like everyone's really obsessed with working out a lot and stuff. And so, and we really don't know if that's even healthy, to be honest. Now, I'm certainly not an expert in exercise, but from the research I've done, and I do have some compelling evidence for this. We not only do not know, but there's some compelling evidence that we are working out too much in America. It's like and we have extremes over here. We got people working out too much and people not working out nearly enough in America, right? And kind of reminds me of this move. Naturally, kind of reminds me of Dirk Pearson and Sandy Shaw. Remember when they talk about working out and they said like um, the, their workout like sort of method was interesting. Okay, let's keep going. So purpose. This is the second one of the Power Nine. The Okinawans call it Ikigai. Hopefully I said that correctly. And the Nicoyans call it Plan de Vida. For both, it translates to why I wake up in the morning. Knowing your sense of purpose is worth up to 7 years of extra life expectancy. All right, so know your sense of purpose. And I think we all know our sense of purpose is to defeat all of death and suffering. And so we got that one covered. Okay. And so the third one is titled Downshift. So this will require an elaboration. Even people in the blue zones experience stress. Stress leads to chronic inflammation associated with every major age-related disease. What the world's longest lived people have that others do not are routines to shed that stress. Okinawans take a few moments each day to remember their ancestors. Adventists pray. Icarians take a nap. And Sardinians do happy hour. Okay, sweet. So you got take a moment to remember your ancestors. You can pray, take a nap, do happy hour, right? Just really take the time to reduce stress, right? And I think somebody who's really popularized the importance of not having stress for the sake of health and a good mindset is Dr. Robert Sapolsky, right? He's super famous and he has some great research on stress and how incredibly important it is, really. So it's such a cornerstone, really, to our whole society. And so check out Dr. Robert Sapolsky. I mean, that guy has that guy's freaking blown my mind like so many times. Okay, so next one, number 4, 80% rule. Hara Hachi Bu. The Okinawan 2,500-year-old Confucian mantra said before meals reminds themselves them sorry. So it's a mantra said before meals reminds them to stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full. The 20% gap between not being hungry and feeling full could be the difference between losing weight or gaining it. People in the blue zones eat their smallest meal in the late afternoon or early evening, and then they do not eat anymore the rest of the day. So yeah, just don't overeat, right? And which, is easier said than done, right? And man, like I was having a tough time eating also, and I recently just became really good at eating a lot healthier. And honestly, like uh, it seems like most of the credit would go to the Germ Protectors I'm taking. The Germ Protectors really just changed a lot of things for me, right? And so it's way easier to eat healthier now. It's actually a lot more difficult for me now to eat unhealthy because every time I eat unhealthy, the Germ Protector like augmenting effects that I experience daily, they aren't nearly as pronounced when I eat unhealthy, and so that sort of is a sort of like punishment, right, for eating. And so now it's kind of like forcing me to eat healthy, which is really great. It's a total win-win. Okay, so, and don't eat too much. Is that number 4? So number 5, plant slant. Beans, including fava, black, soy, and lentils, are the cornerstone of most centenarian diets. Meat, mostly pork, is eaten on average only 5 times per month. Serving sizes are 3 to 4 ounces, about the size of a deck of cards. Okay, so beans and um, all this good stuff, right? I guess you should start eating. So plant-based but diet, really, I think is what it's called. Okay, number 6, wine at 5. People in all blue zones except Adventists drink alcohol moderately and regularly. Moderate drinkers outlive non-drinkers. The trick is to drink 1 to 2 glasses per day. Oh, I should have looked up. Dr. Brian Kennedy said some really great stuff about drinking alcohol at a recent talk he gave. He wanted to bring it up because Dr. Arbor DeGrey. Okay, so let me read this again. The trick is to drink 1 to 2 glasses per day, preferably Sardinian, I forgot how to pronounce that, Canunian wine, with friends and or with food. And no, you cannot save up all week and have 14 drinks on Saturday. Okay, that's so funny. Okay, number 7, belong. All but 5 of the 263 centenarians interviewed belonged to some faith-based community. Denomination does not seem to matter. Research shows that attending faith-based services 4 times per month will add 4 to 14 years of life expectancy. Dude, I'm actually going to start going to church. I'm not particularly religious. I mean, that would require a lot of explaining, which I will do in the future. But I used to spend a lot of time with a lot of different religious people. And so I was about to start going back to church soon, going to like many different churches. I was gonna go starting this Sunday. Okay, so not today. Today's Sunday, but October like 7th or whatever, or November 7th, and start going every Sunday to different churches. And but and so this is probably the reason for this is likely due to social, networks and having people to rely on and stuff like that. Because I remember reading some research like a year ago or something like that, in which people who the study looked at many different sort of markers, right, for people who live longer, and they the results they discovered were the 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 most important reasons that helped people live way longer was being social, right? Having lots of friends, have that interconnectivity, even small talk was like extremely important. Exercise, dieting, like all these things that most people think are important were so minuscule compared to the social aspect, right? Which makes sense when you really think about it, except for the small talk aspect. That was really weird. Yeah, I should find that paper and discuss that. Let me write that down real quick. Wish I'd read that so I could explain it more thoroughly. But okay, let's move on. So 7th one is belong. All but no, we already talked about that one. Okay, loved ones first. Number 8. Successful centenarians in the blue zones put their families first. This means keeping aging parents and grandparents nearby or in the home. It lowers disease and mortality rates of children in the home too. They commit to a life partner, which can add up to 3 years of life expectancy, and invest in their children with time and love. They'll be more likely to care for aging parents when the time comes. Okay, so yeah, so having better parents and a better family is better family is good for you because big reasons are it lowers disease and mortality rates of children in the home, because the highest chances of you dying is when you're born and then around the time you're retiring, right? When you're aging, those are your highest chances of dying. So having a good family is going to greatly increase your chances of living when you're born and when you're a little kid, and then having more respect for the elderly, right, is super important. And in the TEDx, Dan Buettner did an excellent job discussing this, which we'll be reviewing soon. Okay, so for the ninth power of the Power Nine, it's titled The Right Tribe. The world's longest lived people chose or were born into social circles that supported healthy behaviors. Okinawans create moes. I don't know how to say that. This is groups of 5 friends that committed to each other for life. That's so awesome. Research from the Framingham studies shows that smoking, obesity, happiness, and even loneliness are contagious. So the social networks of long-lived people have favorably shaped their health behaviors. Yeah, so picking important friends, right? Friends who got you back, going to keep you ambitious, keep you healthy. And Dan Buettner did an excellent job discussing this in his talk also. I highly recommend you check out his talk. I'm not going to show his entire talk. I'm just going to talk about a few important points. Dude, you should definitely check out that talk. Like, there's some good stuff in there. Okay. So yeah, I mean, So the takeaway is you should probably get these like tattooed somewhere on you, like on your face or something, right? Kind of memorize these, I guess, and start trying to replicate these lifestyles, right? And this can potentially and likely increase your health span and lifespan greatly. But but I do want I do want my channel to be mainly focused on living to like 150, like 130 years old, not just to like 110, right? Because this stuff's going to get you like to 110, like 100, 105, 110, and if your genetics is really bad, it'll probably get you up to like 80 or 90. And so, it's kind of like Dr. Abdu Gray. Dr. Gray, you can see that he really doesn't like discussing research that is just really obvious that it's going to only help you live a little bit longer, right? We want to focus on research that's going to help greatly increase our maximum lifespan, right? That's really important. And to be honest, but this is important. And this stuff's really important, actually, I would say. But we won't be focusing too much on this kind of stuff, right? And again, the main reason why I'm interested in it is because I'm looking for a measurement of maximum human lifespan. But I mean, yeah, whatever. Sorry. Okay, so then they kind of go into more details of each blue zone. You got, should I read this? Yeah, I think I'm gonna read each one of these. This life radius is really cool stuff. I read like half of this. And then this guy's an experiment they did. Okay, so blue zones. So now let's discuss each one a little bit, what they've discovered, and what they think is helping people live longer. So in Sardinia, located off the coast of Italy, Sardinia is home to the world's longest lived men. This community of shepherds walk 5 mountainous miles a day or more. This natural movement provides all the positive cardiovascular benefits you might expect and also has a positive effect on muscle and bone metabolism without the point pounding of running marathons. The classic Sardinian diet is plant-based, consisting of whole grain bread, beans, garden vegetables, and fruits. Meat is largely reserved for Sundays and special occasions. Sardinians drink wine moderately. Uh, Canunan wine has 2 to 3 times the level of artery scrubbing flavonoids as other wines. Moderate wine consumption may help explain the lower levels among men. I'm pretty sure I remember Dan Buettner inside his TEDx talking about the wine having like a bunch of polyphenols. And so I wonder if that's what he means by this, the flavonoids. Okay, so that's what they're doing. They're drinking a little bit of wine. They're eating this sort of plant-based diet, and yeah, it's interesting comparing these to United States, right? um, okay, so it's all just kind of making more sense that why we have the lowest life expectancy out of all of the first world nations, right? Even though we purchase like over 70% of all the pharmaceuticals in the world, and even though we're like the most medically, like technologically advanced nation, like somehow our life expectancy is and our morbidity is increasing. Our life expectancy isn't increasing as much, and but our morbidity, the time of being sick, is increasing. So that's not good. We need to make some big changes, right? Okay, so I got Sardinia. Okay, then Okinawa. Home to the world's longest lived women, these South Pacific islands offer many secrets to longevity. The Okinawa tradition of forming a Maui provides secure social networks. These safety nets lend financial and emotional support in times of need and give their members the stress shedding security of knowing there is always someone there for them. In Okinawa, at age 5, children are put in these committed social networks. One specific Maui, dude. I should probably figure out how to pronounce that. I wonder if I can. I bet I could. Huh? I'm just gonna. Can I Google like translate that or whatever? Like use the. I'm gonna try right now. Maui, Japan. Does it give me a? I was hoping he can give me something that can like give pronounce it for me out loud, but it looks like it's not doing that. So I guess I'm just gonna pronounce it incorrectly. It's Moai. One specific moai that Dan discovered had been together for 97 years. Jeez. The average age of the group is 102. The average age. Okay, people, that's the average age. Keyword average. They meet every day to drink sake and gossip. If one of them does not show up, the other 4 put on their kimonos to walk across the village to check on their friend. Okinawans also attribute their longevity to the old Confucian mantra said before meals, "Hara hachibu," which means which reminds them to stop eating when 80% full, so they do not overeat. They also hold a strong sense of purpose in their family. One centenarian described the feeling of holding her great-great-great-grandchild as jumping into heaven, which I'm actually going to show the specific woman because Dan Buettner brought her up in his TEDx. It's really cool, and there's a lot of important implications about that. Right? Okay, so the Japanese people, right? They have an excellent social network, excellent friends that really stick by each other's sides, and they don't overeat. Right? I'm sure they're doing other things important. Okay, so Loma Linda, dude, super close in California. This Adventist community in California outlives the average American by a decade. So Adventists, they're a specific denomination of Christianity, I believe. Let me check. Seventh-day Adventist. Is that correct to say? A specific denomination of Christianity? Church, no. The Seventh-day Adventist Church is a Protestant Christian denomination. All right, yeah, I was correct. Okay. Where were we at? Taking their diet directly from the Bible, they consume a vegan diet of leafy greens, nuts, and legumes. They recognize the Sabbath and downshift for 24 hours every week. Remember, downshift was decreasing stress. So the downshift for 24 hours every week. And that's actually what I've been doing kind of naturally. Many of the Adventists are still very active into their late 90s. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, who is 95 years old, was told that a contractor wanted $6,000 to build a privacy fence in his yard. Instead of paying the contractor, he decided to do it himself. After 3 days of work, he ended up in the hospital. But Ellsworth was not on the table. He was the surgeon performing the open heart surgery, one of the 20 surgeries performed that month. Similarly, Marge Jetton, at age 105, woke up every morning at 5:30 a.m., read her Bible, had a breakfast of slow-cooked oatmeal, nuts, and dates with soy milk and a prune juice shooter. She would then ride her stationary bike for 30 minutes and get in her Cadillac and drive to her volunteer jobs for 7 different organizations. So that's all just so impressive, right? I mean, dude, both of them are really impressive, but listen to this. Listen to this 95-year-old. He not only built a fence, right, in his backyard at 95 years old, but then after 3 days of work, he ends up at the hospital and he's a surgeon. He does open heart surgery and he does 20 surgeries a month, right? It's like, geez, like that's just so impressive, right? And so if you want to talk about extending health span, right? Like that's it right there. Okay, let me write this down real quick. I gotta write something down. I just keep in my mind. So yeah, next time you go out and get groceries, right? Look at the blue zones and start buying this stuff. And I'm sure your life will become much better. So Nicoya, this is Costa Rica. Nicoyans spend just 15% of what America does on healthcare and are more than twice as likely than Americans to reach a healthy age of 90 years. Jeez. Faith and family play a strong role in Nicoyan culture. So does Plan de Vida, or Reason to Live, which helps Nicoyan elders maintain a positive outlook and active lifestyle. Nicoyans eat little to no processed foods, but plenty of antioxidant-rich tropical fruits. But they also have one unique secret: calcium and magnesium-rich water, which wards off heart disease and promotes strong bones. Jeez, calcium and magnesium-rich water. Yeah, I've heard really good things about magnesium. Sweet, yeah, dude. So next time I'm gonna go to the grocery store, man, stock up my calcium, magnesium-rich water. Okay, let's move on. And but an important point though is to consider is you might not. I don't know. I'll bring that up later. Let me write that down. Okay, I'll just say it out loud real quick. Okay, so I would say it's more likely that combining all of these would help you live longer and help you live longer than even each one of these blue zones. But we don't technically know that, and so it'd be really great to get um, to do some experiments. Maybe they've already been done of combining all of these, right? Because that's what they're doing, right? They create these 9 commonalities, and they want people to do all 9 of these, I would presume. And so, but we technically don't know if combining all of them, doing maybe sticking to a regimen of one of them would be good. And I think that's just a really important point to kind of an important flag to plant right there. And yeah, it'd be great to someone do an experiment on that. Oh, what a good idea. Dude, I'm getting such good ideas right now. Dude, that's so sexy. Oh my gosh. It's so awesome having taking this GR protector. Because I think I've told in previous lifespan extension vlogs, it augmented my IQ by like 5 to 10 points, which, like, that's obviously a simplistic way of defining intelligence. And so, I mean, who knows how much it really augmented, but I would say like around 5 to 10. And some types of intelligence, it's augmented more than others. And so it's been really just, dude, it's so incredible. Okay, so last one is Icaria. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. People on this tiny, how do you pronounce this? Asian island? Asian island? Dude, I'm so bad with geography. I literally failed every geography quiz in my history class. And because the professor was the way he was talking like really fast, and I had a sort of like an aphasia sort of thing when I was younger, which is it's a neurological disorder that makes it difficult to communicate and or articulate, no, comprehend and or articulate language. And so it was just really difficult for me to comprehend the language. And so now, like, my geography is just like total crap, but it'll get better. I mean, I've been studying it with the little extra time I have. Okay, so people in this island live 8 years longer than Americans do. They experience 20% less cancer, half the rate of heart disease, and almost no dementia. Okay, so this is important right here, right? Because these are like the number one killers of like everyone on the planet, right? Heart disease and dementia and stuff, and cancer. And so, dude, these numbers are just so impressive. They experience 20% less cancer, half the rate of heart disease, and almost no dementia. Icarians, Icarians eat a variation of the Mediterranean diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, potatoes, and olive oil. Icarians also downshift with a mid-afternoon break. People who nap regularly have up to 35% lower chances of dying from heart disease. It may be because napping lowers stress hormones or rests the heart. One Icarian in particular Stamatis Marlatis moved to America. That's the person's name. Stamatis Marlatis moved to America when he was 22 years old to pursue the American dream. He was a painter and immediately started having success. Bought a house, married, and had 3 kids. At the age of 66 years, he developed terminal lung cancer. Instead of dying in America, he decided to move back to Caria and moved in with his parents. He started breathing the air, drinking the wine, and eating a vegetarian diet. After a few months, he planted a garden, not planning on ever getting to harvest the vegetables. 37 years later, he has a vineyard producing 200 liters of wine a year. His secrets, he says, I just forgot to die. Dude, if that wasn't like one of the most impressive things you've ever heard, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, because that was extremely impressive. And let me make sure I'm pronouncing that. Kelly Ria. Come on, give me like a thing that says it out loud. Okay, so hopefully I was pronouncing that correctly. But it's in Greece, right? And the island where people live longer. They're really not gonna say it. Whatever. Okay. So sorry if I was mispronouncing that. So I mean, dude, let's all go to Greece, right? Let's just kick it there for like 20 years until the singularity hits. And geez, yeah, that's a really good example. Okay, medical. Diabetes are running rampant in the United States. Currently, culture focus. Guys. Okay, I'll read this. Okay, so for this next section, it's titled medical. And so obesity and diabetes are running rampant in the United States. Currently, the culture is focused on adhering to different diets and exercise programs. It has been found that these are not sustainable changes. Within the first 7 months of a diet, more than 90% of individuals will have given up. Jeez. I wish there was more citations, dude. What's up with that? There is a similar decline when it comes to adherence to gym memberships. After just 2 years, the number of attendees will have dropped by 70%. It is clear that there is no quick fix, but there must be a small changes to the environment to see long-lasting health changes. Jeez. Yeah, I wish there had been citations here. They can sound like really good claims. Like not good, obviously, but okay. So next one is life radius. I'll probably just read part of this. Research shows that individuals spend about 90% of their lives within 5 miles of their home. Jeez. Known as the life radius, seen in figure 2. Show figure, social networks, purpose, volunteering, stores, workplace, restaurants, schools, faith. Okay. To engineer an environment where longevity ensues, Blue Zones worked with researchers to create a blueprint to optimize the life radius. The team started by analyzing what individuals can do for themselves. Individuals can engineer their kitchen so they can eat about 100 fewer calories, and engineer their home so they burn a couple of hundred extra calories through physical activity. And so definitely read the rest of this on your own, right? It's really great how Dan Buettner and his team is so passionate about, not just getting this information out to people, but making those changes, right? He's active. His team is actively getting involved in our worlds, in our world, in our environments, and trying to change them for us so we can be living longer and healthier. Which is just that's so great, right? That's the kind of that's the kind of mindset we've got to have, right, people? We got to be working hard at learning this information and getting it out so that other people can practice it and so that they can all be healthy and stay alive, right? So Albert Leah is the next section. In 2008, Dan and the Blue Zones team finalized the blueprint for Life Radius. They had to make sure that it could be applied to an American city. Buettner and his team interviewed 5 cities to be the pilot project, and they picked Albert Lea. Is that Minnesota? So you're all soon going to learn how bad I am at geography. But I will get good at it soon. Yeah, Minnesota. Dude, called that. Boom, dude. Okay, so where are we at? Minnesota? A town of 9,000 people. Let's check out where that's at real quick. Specifically. I'm gonna kind of put this into Google Images and see where we're looking at. Specifically. Should I look at the maps? Okay, there's Albert Lea. It's near Minneapolis. Oh, did I get it wrong? Wait, hold on. Okay. So there's a specific city where they found him next to Rochester, right? Looks like it's like right by the border of Iowa, right? Bordering with Minnesota, right here. Sounds like a pretty sexy place, dude. Go party here sometime. Okay, so it's a town of 9,000 people. The team first went in and listened to the organizations to find what they needed. They brought in Dan Burden, who works with communities across the country to create more walkable environments. Albert Lea wanted to widen main streets and up the speed limit. Blue Zones convinced them to build a walking path around their lake instead. The path is now packed 11 months out of the year with individuals walking. Okay, so you can read the rest. The point is that they are actively getting involved with communities to help them live longer, right? By helping change policies, direct policies, and I'm sure in many other ways, right? Which is just so fantastic. Blue Zones expansion. Okay, you can read that later for yourself. Vitality Compass. Okay, so check this out. Vitality Compass. In association with the University of Minnesota Public Health Department, Dan and his team created the Vitality Compass, named the best online tool for retirement and longevity by the Wall Street Journal. This tool has users answer lifestyle and background questions based on the Power 9 teachings of right outlook, move naturally, eat wisely, and belong. It then calculates their biological age, overall life expectancy, healthy life expectancy, and the years they are gaining/losing because of their habits. If it then gives the users 12 customized recommendations to help them live longer and better. This is a useful tool to take initially as a baseline test. Then try out some of the specific lifestyle recommendations, and 3 to 6 months later, take the quiz again. Recommendations include reducing salt intake, joining a faith-based community, quitting smoking, improving attitude, and many more. Let me write this down. Vitality Compass. I wonder if they have a. I wonder if they have an app. Let me look at the Vitality Compass real quick. That sounds really cool. It is. I think it is an app, dude. Apps. True Vitality Test by Blue Zones. Should we fill this out? Begin 3-minute test. This test calculates your life expectancy and how long you'll stay healthy. We send you personalized recommendations for getting the most good years out of life. We keep your submissions and results private. Here, let me check something real quick. I mean, dude, so right? Go take this test. Looks like good stuff. Blue Zones. Vitality Compass. I should review like a bunch of health apps, huh? Because I'll be creating a health app pretty soon, a lifespan increasing app, actually, to be specific. But man, should I take this test? I should, huh? I'll think about that. We're gonna go through the website anyway, so. Okay, so there's the. Let me read the summary real quick. Blue Zones started as a way of discovering the healthiest lifestyles that led to vitality and longevity. Now, 12 years after the start of this this massive project, Blue Zones is a way to design the healthiest lifestyle possible for individuals and for entire communities. The goal for Blue Zones is to not only make the healthy choice the easy choice, but also the unavoidable choice. Ooh, unavoidable. You must be healthy. Very true. This is super important, right? The implications of that are very important. And so, sweet, man. So yeah, we read that paper. You got a better understanding of what blue zones are, what's going on there. Isn't that stuff impressive? And we got some more. I got some more impressive stuff coming for you too. This is the notes. Cool. I gotta read this again. Look at this. Is this? No. Hold on one second. I gotta save this. Okay, cool. Oh, what happened there? Sweet. All right, so next, this is probably where I'll stop with the video. This will be like the first part, and then I'll have the second part in which I review the website and I'll discuss. I think I'll start with discussing the TEDx talk and then review the website. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, so this is all for today's video. I wonder how long we've gone. Where does it say that? Almost been an hour. Jeez. Sweet. Going hard. Okay, so I should probably end the stream now and then start a new one, right? Would that be easier? Because then I won't have to chop it up. Or would it be easier to just do that? I think I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. And I'll just chop it up, right? Okay, cool. Gosh, I wish I had like a better background. So like, whatever. One day. Yeah, I'm actually in the process of setting the studio up, and the studio is gonna be super sexy. So yeah, they'll be finished soon. I actually bought all the materials for it. Well, actually half the materials. Yeah, the other materials will take a little bit longer. So it should be set up, what? I think like 2 weeks from now. But I won't be able to actually show. I'll be able to show like maybe half the studio. I don't know. Okay, so that's it for this lifespan extension vlog. Right? And yeah, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and all that important stuff. And yeah, I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned a lot. Definitely look into blue zones and start replicating these things, right? As much as possible. Start eating plant-based diets and like beans and stuff, right? And start having more social networks with really good friends that that are going to push you to be better. And yeah, all right. I'll see you all later. I look forward to living with you forever. And all right, I'm gonna start reviewing the TEDx and the website now. Oh.